Coming up on Network Africa. 2 generals and more than 40 soldiers arrested over coup allegations in Mali. Ghana schedules Friday, August 15, 2025 for a state funeral for victims of last week's deadly helicopter crash. Plus, the Nigeria Immigration Service set to repatriate 143 non-Nigerian former prisoners upon completion of their sentences. Hello and welcome to the program this week. I'm Layo Olarinde. Let's begin with stories and happenings that made headlines over the weekend.
Marched through Abidjan to protest the exclusion of opposition candidates in Côte d'Ivoire's upcoming election and voiced their rejection to President Alassane Ouattara's continued rule. Demonstrators flooded the city streets with Ivorian flags and signs, demanding the inclusion of their candidates. Protesters are demanding the reinstatement of voter registration, as well as the inclusion of former President Laurent Gbagbo, former Prime Minister Guillaume Soro, and ex-Minister Tijane Thiam as candidates on the electoral ballot. Protesters also rejected President Ouattara's bid for a 4th term, which he announced after amending the constitution to eliminate presidential term limits. A bus transporting mourners overturned and plunged into a ditch in southwestern Kenya's Kisumu, leaving dozens dead and injured. Locals assisted emergency workers at the site of the incident, carrying the injured away from the scene and into ambulance vehicles. The wrecked bus was later pulled away from Kisumu-Kakamega Highway. According to officials, the victims include 10 women, 10 men, and a 10-year-old child. Local media reported that the death toll has since risen to 26 people. Reports also indicate that at least 28 others have been injured in the accident, including an 8-month-old infant. The bus was reportedly transporting families from Nyahira to Nyakachi, where they were set to attend a funeral. Niger Minister of Justice and Human Rights and Keeper of Seals, Alio Daouda, announced the dissolution of unions of the justice sector on alleged repeated abuse of power at a press conference in Niamey. He stated that the unions in the justice sector are not working to ensure the proper functioning of the public justice service in its mission to defend the public interest, but rather to promote personal interests that are detrimental to the public good.
That's our main stories for today. At least 45 Malian soldiers, including 2 generals, were arrested over the weekend for attempts to destabilize the institutions in the Sahel country. Among those arrested was General Abbas Dembele, a former governor of the central Mopti region who is popular within army ranks. Soldiers arrested Dembele early on Sunday morning on the outskirts of the capital, Bamako, without explaining the reasons for his apprehension. Onima Sagara, a brigadier general in the Air Force, was also arrested. She is one of the few high-ranking women in the Malian military. Well, joining us now for more on this is Mosani Aliyu, our Channels TV Sahel correspondent. He's in Tamale, northern Ghana. Hello, Mo. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me, Layo.
Now, what more details can you tell us about the situation on Sunday leading up to the arrest of prominent figures in the army?
Well, I can report that there is a lot of tension right now in the Malian capital, Bamako. For the last 3-4 days, these arrests have been ongoing. But they came to a fore just yesterday when the arrests of those 2 army generals, the 2 generals were made public. The General Abbas Dembele is a very well-respected general within the armed forces in Mali. and it was unclear up to this early morning whether he was actually under house arrest or he was free, because some conflicting reports say that he had been seen in his home in Bamako, but later other reports appeared showing that he's been arrested also. The other general, that is General Nima, who is also a well-respected general in the armed forces, is the highest-ranking, as you said, the highest-ranking female general in the Malian military. She has also been fingered by this government as having a hand in what they call an attempted takeover. There are still a lot of reports coming out of Mali about how far this particular arrests will go, but we have it on authority, good authority, that about 24 to 30 of them, that is soldiers, have been arrested so far.
So how concerning is this, to the government of Colonel Assimi Goïta, who himself, came into power through a coup back in 2021?
Yes, this is very concerning, seeing that the captain, Assimi Goïta himself, overthrew a government that had overthrown a civilian government just a year before. 2020 and 2021 were the 2 dates I'm talking about. So since then, Assimi Goïta, the military government he is heading, has promulgated some decrees showing that it's not about to go away soon. You may recall that around May this year, the government, the Council of Ministers, gave this government an additional 5 years in office. That is, a mandate of 5 years was granted to Mr. Assimi Goïta and the military government he is heading right now. And that has brought a lot of misgivings, seeing that in the particular decree that was promulgated, there was a provision that says Mr. Goïta and his government can increase the lifespan of this government to 10 years. That is, they can renew the 5-year mandate after another 5 years. So a lot of misgivings in the military and among the civilian population has been much talked about in the country. Added to that, you've also got the insurgency from the northern part of the country and the western part of the country, where the Islamists and the insurgents have been waging an ongoing battle over the years for control of this very important nation.
Indeed, and in addition to the 5 extra years that was given in May, President Goïta also dissolved all political parties and organizations, and this at the time sparked widespread protest. Even with this latest development, how are Malians reacting to this? What are you hearing from ordinary people?
Okay, I reached out to some civil society organizations. And just last week, some of them told me that they have been forced to leave and move into Senegal to seek refuge because the military had been very active in arresting people across the country who were seen as being critical to the government. There's a lot of fear amongst people who want to speak out against what they see as the government's efforts in stifling human rights. Let's not forget, this is a military government. They are very sensitive about any reporting that they see as negative to what they are trying to do in the country. The Association of Sahel States, the AES, has also released a statement recently talking about the insurgency gaining ground in parts of Burkina Faso and Mali, saying that it is because they are getting the support of certain elements, as elements they have not actually come out to identify or to name, that these people or some people in these nations, the three nations, Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, that some people or some elements, as they call them, have been given massive support to the insurgents in northern Mali, western part of Burkina Faso, and in also the western part of Niger Republic. So there are a lot of misgivings actually, and people are worried about what will come next. Yeah.
All right then. Thank you so much, Mo Sani Aliyu, Channels TV Sahel correspondent.
Thank you so much for having me live.
Ghana has announced August the 15th, this Friday, for a state funeral to honor victims of last week's helicopter crash that killed 2 ministers and 6 other people. The solemn ceremony is to hold at the Black Star Square in Accra, Ghana. Well, on Sunday, 2 of the 8 victims were buried. The bodies of former Minister for Environment Ibrahim Mohamed Murtala and Deputy National Security Coordinator Alhaji Muniru Limuna Mohammed. Their bodies were interred at a military cemetery after a tribute by President John Mahama. On Saturday, a candle night memorial was held in their honor. Last Wednesday's crash was one of Ghana's worst air disasters in more than a decade.
An evening of reflections and memorials was held at the State House forecourt in Accra, Ghana, to honor 8 officials who lost their lives in a recent helicopter crash in Adansi, Akofom. Dignitaries attended the candle night ceremony, including President John Mahama, as a gesture of silent mourning alongside religious leaders.
Our hearts heavy with the profound sorrow that has gripped our nation. The news of the helicopter crash at Adansi Akofom, which tragically claimed the lives of 8 of our beloved citizens, all of whom were proudly serving our great nation, has shattered us to the core. Our nation is indeed in deep mourning. In my official capacity as President of the Republic of Ghana, I wish to extend the sincerest condolences of our nation to the bereaved families, the spouses and children who have lost pillars in their lives.
Businessman Meto Nono Jr. described the loss of his friend, Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, as a big blow, recalling his deep knowledge of Ghana's history and faith, while noting the pilot's young family.
You take somebody like Dr. Ibrahim Murtala, when you come to wealth of knowledge, when you come to people who know the job, who know the history of Ghana, you can't take it out of him. And his love for Allah, his love for his religion, you can't take it out of him. So losing such people is a big blow. The pilot who lost his life happens to live within the same area with me. He has a 2-month-old baby as well. All of them have their unique stuff. So it's a sad day for Ghana. It was a dark Wednesday indeed.
Professor S.A. Sutherland Addy took inspiration from victims' dedication, saying their lives can be an example for public service in the way that it ought to be.
What I take consolation in the fact that their lives can be an example for public service in the way that it ought to be. And that is why I have come to memorialize them and also to take inspiration to carry on.
The Z9 helicopter carrying 3 crew members and 5 passengers went down in dense forest. Ghana has since declared 3 days of national mourning. State funerals are scheduled for August the 15th.
Well, the Nigeria Immigration Service in Lagos has taken custody of 143 foreign nationals who recently completed prison sentences for cyber terrorism and other cyber crimes. The group, consisting of 97 Chinese, 40 Filipinos, and 6 others from various countries, was received at the Zonal Command. They include 91 males and 52 females between the ages of 18 to 45. Following an order from Comptroller General Kemi Nandap, these ex-offenders will be properly profiled and repatriated to their home countries, reinforcing the service's strict stance against crime and irregular migration. Welcome back to the program. The South Africa Police Service has launched a manhunt after a prisoner who is awaiting trial shot and killed 2 police officers who were transporting him back to the Boksburg Correctional Services after appearing in court for a robbery case. According to the Provincial Police Commissioner Fane Masemola, the prisoner who is in possession of the state's firearm fled the scene with police vehicle and was later found abandoned. However, it is still unclear whether the prisoner overpowered the 2 officers or had assistance. Well, let's now shift gears to the Gambia, where there has been public and widespread outrage after a 1-month-old baby girl died following an alleged case of female genital mutilation. According to the police, the baby was rushed to a hospital in the capital, Banjul, after she developed severe bleeding. However, she was pronounced dead on arrival. Although an autopsy is still being conducted to establish the cause of death, many people have linked it to FGM, or female circumcision, a cultural practice outlawed in the West African state. A statement from a leading non-governmental organization in the country, Women in Leadership and Liberation, WIL, says culture is no excuse and tradition is no shield, as this is violence, pure and simple. Well, 2 women have been arrested for their alleged involvement in the baby's death. FGM is the deliberate cutting or removal of a female's external genitalia, and Gambia is among the 10 countries with the highest rates of female genital mutilation, with 73% of women and girls aged 15 to 49 having undergone the procedure, with many doing so before the age of 6. Well, on a lighter note, if you're a music lover from the motherland, you'll agree that the global rise of Afrobeats is making waves, not just on the charts and concert stages, but also in academic halls worldwide. From American universities to Nigeria's own institutions, the genre is reshaping music education as different societies race to position themselves to take advantage of the genre's boom. Our next report has more.
The rhythm of Afrobeats is not only dominating global music charts, it's now being taught in classrooms. A viral video from Ohio University shows a course dedicated to superstar Wizkid, one of many examples of how institutions worldwide are embracing Afrobeats to prepare students for a booming industry. Back in Nigeria, the birthplace of Afrobeats, the focus is different. Industry veteran Ilbliss highlights a gap in the system. There's no structured pipeline to nurture and produce the next wave of superstars, despite the genre's global success.
A lot of it is really by accident still. A lot of it is still by people just trying out their lucks and hoping to God the music, because now there's a formula for promoting. And since there's a formula for promoting, people can just explode, build a fan base. So it's still quite not encoded. It's not properly encoded yet. We'll get there.
Young Nigerian artists are fighting to break through, often without support from established acts. The struggle to join the industry's elite remains a steep climb.
The thing is, everybody at the top, they don't want to come down. So, and for people, even when they used to say there's a proverb that this sky is big for everybody to fly, but in music it's not like that. So everybody used to cage. Like I used to say, I don't blame anybody. I don't blame anybody at the top that refused to give me access. Because if what I'm going through, if that's what also the person went through, he will put a price on his name.
At the University of Lagos, the Faculty of Creative Arts is taking steps to address this. Professor Olusoji, the Dean, acknowledges the cultural significance of Afrobeats, but admits the department faces challenges in fully integrating it.
Well, you know, with all institutions, the problem of facilities is a major challenge. Although we thank the federal government for providing facilities, but it is still not adequate. We have that challenge of not having enough facilities, space, equipment to go around all our students. And we also have, we don't have enough lecturers. We don't have enough, if I say lecturers, it's not just the academic lecturers, instructors, people from town, where they can learn some hands-on experience.
With efforts from Professor Olusoji and his team, the curriculum has been adapted to embrace Nigeria's pop sound, but there's still work to be done to match the global academic momentum.
We have tried to improve our curriculum. For instance, we are not just doing music now. We are doing music and sound production. Some of our students are interested in that area, commercial music, modern technology used in music. We have some courses that are even African music, something popular music. We are branching out so that all the talents that are in town, our talented students can have something to learn, something that will not make them to be unemployed when they get out of there.
As Afrobeats continues to dominate the world stage, the question remains, will Nigeria build the infrastructure to sustain this cultural export? For now, the beat goes on, both in classrooms, abroad, and at home.
Ticket sales for some African Nations Championship CHAN matches in Nairobi have been suspended after chaotic scenes overshadowed Kenya's victory over Morocco on Sunday. The Harambee Stars produced a shock by beating the pre-tournament favorites 1-0 at a packed Kasarani Stadium. But the outcome was marred by disorder, both inside and outside the venue before and during the match. The security breaches included a broken gate, fans entering without tickets, overcrowding beyond the 48,063 capacity, and also the invasion of areas that were reserved for media. MOOC Africa, CHAN's ticketing service provider in Kenya, says sales for upcoming fixtures at the stadium have been halted until organizers issue further instructions. All Kenyan fans, like you see, erupted in celebration on Sunday as the Harambee Stars stunned defending champions Morocco 1-0, moving a step closer to the quarterfinals. Well, Kenya is co-hosting CHAN, Africa's football's biennial international competition for home-based players, alongside Tanzania and Uganda. The East African trio are also set to jointly stage the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations.
Don't play with Kenya, bwana. We are unblockable. We are unblockable. Angalia hii Kenya.
The game was fantastic. Kenya is top, bro. Kenya. We love our country, and we are demonstrating with our country well, eh?
And just before we end the program, here's our fun fact about the continent. Did you know most of the world's diamonds come from Africa? As much as 95% of the world's diamonds and 50% of the world's gold comes from Africa. Botswana, South Africa, Angola, and the Democratic Republic of Congo are major producers within the continent, with Botswana leading the continent in diamond production by value. Well, if you didn't know, now you know. And that's it on the program for today. Thank you for watching. I'm Layo Olarinde. Have a lovely day.